John and his disciples came to him, and then he began to speak, and he taught them, saying, Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will receive mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. And blessed are you when people revile you and persecute you and utter all kinds of evil against you falsely on my account. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward is great in heaven. For in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, O Christ.
Back in 1981, when I came up with this brilliant idea of going off to seminary, and I went to break the news to Leslie, and she had told me already what I was going to do. How's that for a good marriage? She knew ahead of time. So we started the process, and first thing you have to do is go to the synod and tell them what you have in mind. And so I was sent to this director of vocations who had the bedside manner of, oh God, not a happy man. And he listened to me very patiently and said, how long have you been Lutheran? I said, 3 years. That's it, huh? Yes, that's it. But I think I know really what I want to do. And so he said, gee, isn't that nice? You're married with 2 children. Yes, I am. And what happens if you go to seminary and you get all the way through and you don't have a call? Tell me how you're going to support your wife and your children. Give me an answer right now. I felt like I was being beaten against a wall. All those things you don't think about because you feel you have some kind of call. But anyway, he let me go, and I contacted the Gettysburg Seminary, and they kind of had the same, oh, you really, Lutheran for 3 years. Well, okay, you go take the graduate record exam and let us know how it comes out. Okay, so I had been out of school for over 15 years. The thought of taking the graduate record exam is daunting, scary. And so I sign up and I go to, I believe it was American International College in Springfield, Mass. And I walk into this room where there's 100 other people, and I see the look of fear on their face. And I pick it up myself too, and I think, oh my God, why have I done this? And as I sit down and they pass out the test papers and the number 2 pencils, I suddenly remembered how this is a repeat performance of high school when so many of us took the Scholastic Aptitude test. Remember those? Remember how you walked in and thought, oh, my academic future's in the hands. And you open the booklet and you have a vocab test, easy at first, and it gets tougher toward the end, and all of a sudden you see words you've never seen before. And then you come to the comparison test. A dog is to a cat as in, and then they give you these choices, right? And you try to narrow them down, and you get them down to 2, and you almost can feel the sweat breaking out. Which one is it? And you remember the rules. If you guess too often, they're going to take points off. And so with your hand shaking, you fill in one of the little circles, hoping you got the right one. And that's how these tests kind of go, don't they? So I would like to present to you this morning the Beatitudes as a mild scholastic aptitude test. And here you've got your papers out in front of you, right? And there's only one question for you to fill in, and you can only put in one answer. Please read the following and circle or fill in the blank next to the one that best describes you. And so you read, blessed are the poor in spirit. Skip. Blessed are those who mourn. I have. Blessed are the meek. Get rid of it. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be filled. Sounds like an ACLU question to me. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall receive mercy. Under the right circumstances, yeah. Yeah, maybe. Blessed are the pure in heart. Uh-oh. Go by that one. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called children of God. Well, I can remember trying to do that once. It didn't work out too well. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are people when people revile you and persecute you, utter all kinds of evil against you, falsely on my account. Never had that happen. Never. So you get down, and the last box you can check is none of the above. But you might get not credit for that one. Look, the Beatitudes are something that everybody loves because we can almost see Jesus talking to the disciples, and he's got this vision of the world as over and against what he sees in our society. He sees what's happening. Rome has come in. They set up a puppet government, so to speak, in the temple. They choose the high priest. And the priests below him are kind of playing footsie with the Romans. Look, you keep things quiet, we'll make sure that we don't bother you. And there's all kinds of things like that going on. And people are living in poverty that we don't understand. If 99% of the people are at a poverty level and 4 of them are on subsistent levels, that's something we don't live in today. And for Jesus to come along and put up all of these blessings is almost to look us into the face and ask us for a counter-reality. Or as I've heard lately, an alternative fact. It might be something very difficult for us to understand because all of this stuff really, in many ways goes against who we think we are. We always look into a mirror and say, what I'm looking at is right now someone who is meek in heart. Yes. I love being meek in heart, don't you? It's a counter-reality, you see, to who we are as human beings. We like to be liked. We like to have a certain amount of power, and we should, otherwise we can't get through life, especially if you're going to bring up kids. You have to have some power, despite the fact that when they get to be teens, they're going to decide they want some too. It's a difficult thing to get through life and to look at these blesseds are, these Beatitudes, but all of a sudden we say, at the bottom of the test saying, you must fill in one. You must. And so the question is this morning, being who we are, as Luther said, at one time a sinner, at one time a saint, we're kind of got this confluence of our personalities and they fight against each other. It's kind of like in the movies where a man is tempted and he's got this little angel on one side and a little devil on the other, and they're whispering into his ear. And there's this conversation that's going on, and you've got to pick one, but you're not quite sure because either one has its benefits and its detractions. So you've got to fill in one of the squares down there, and it says, be careful about picking none of the above. A warning. We who have been baptized into Jesus Christ are people who are called to listen to what he had to say, not just to the disciples, but what he has to say to us here and now this morning. And he asks us to go into a contra way of thinking over and against what maybe we've been taught out of the world. He asks us to look out even at politics or what we see is going on, or what's going on between warring nations and saying, does it make any sense to be meek? Does it make any sense to hunger after justice and righteousness when you see justice and righteousness being flaunted against day after day? Read the news, hear the news, and you will see all kinds of things going on that you say, somebody ought to do something about that. Yeah, somebody ought to do something about that. And then we go on, and life goes on its own way. And so we can look at the Beatitudes this morning and say, gee, those are nice. Gee, it would have been great to hear that with the disciples, having those words spoken to us. But when he spoke to the disciples, little did they know what they were going to be led into after Jesus' resurrection. It wasn't a life of comfort. It was a difficult life, looking over the authorities of Rome and the people who lorded over them. How do you remain meek in the sight of evil? But, did you notice the reading in Micah this morning? Let's go back. At the very end, Sim said, from the reading, from Micah, "He has told you, O mortal, what is good. And what does the Lord require of you? But to do justice, and to love kindness, and to walk humbly with your God." Sound familiar? Don't we walk under those words every Sunday when we walk into this church? And they're kind of like almost like a blinking neon sign as you walk in here. This is who we are. This is what we are going to become. This is what God calls us to be. Now, it's a scary thing to look at the Beatitudes and have to fill in your little sheet with one of those choices. But go ahead and do it. And then once you do it, you define some area of your life that's going to be different from what it is right now. And to also have the good thought that in so doing, God is going to give you some type of grace to work on it and give it a try. And it's also worthwhile, isn't it? Because as one person marks off one of these things and says, I'm going to work on this and see what happens. What will it do to change my life? How do I perceive the world differently now that I've checked off this little box? And now I've passed it in. And my choice is irrevocable. And now you're stuck with what you checked off. But at the same time, it is the beginning, just the very beginning of redefining who you are. So, check one off this morning. Give it a try. What have you got to lose? After all, we call this the Word of God. So, go ahead. Now, your hand may be a little shaky, as if you were taking an SAT. What if it's the wrong one? The good news is, you can do this test over and over again until you get it right. Because that is what the graciousness of the love of God is all about. I picked off being meek. It's a lot harder than I thought. And I've fallen flat on my face. And so God invites us into the test room and says, all right, let's give it another try. And that is what it means to be forgiven when we do confession and forgiveness back there from the church, is to give it another try. What have you got to lose in giving it another try? And so, as we look at the Beatitudes this morning, we say, kind of nice. Don't miss the opportunity to take one and hold it and run with it. It's what God is all about. Actually, it's what God is all about within us. So, think about it and take a choice. If it doesn't work out, thank God. Our God is the God of second chances. Go for it. Amen.
Let us now confess our Christian faith in the words of the Apostles' Creed. I believe in God, the Father Almighty, creator of heaven and earth. I believe in Jesus Christ, His Son, our Lord, who was conceived by the Holy Spirit, born of the Virgin Mary, suffered under Pontius Pilate, was crucified, died, and was buried. He descended to the dead. On the third day he rose again. He ascended into heaven. He is seated at the right hand of the Father, and he will come to judge the living and the dead. I believe in the Holy Spirit, the Holy Catholic Church, the communion of saints, the forgiveness of sins, the resurrection of the body, and the life everlasting. Amen. The following persons have been elected by this congregation to positions of leadership and are renewing their leadership position for the year 2017. Yes, you may be seated. And their names are Sim Austin, President, Dale Bleacher, Council Member, Pat Harrell, Council Member and Mission Endowment Fund, Leif Dahl, Mission Endowment Fund, Ron Diamond, Mission Endowment Fund, Tim Hessen, Council Member, Barbara Hibbs, Council Member and Mission Endowment Fund, Bill Kitts, council member. Dean Ludwig, council member. Brenda Riediger, secretary. Lucy Seeley, council member. Ed Bocchini, Mission Endowment Fund. Peggy Walters, trustee. Debbie Washburn, council member. Kay Wasson, vice president, Mission Endowment Fund. Looney Weber, financial secretary. Butch Weber, trustee. Susie Weeks, council member. Marty Widoff, treasurer. Rick Widoff, trustee. And St. Paul writes, there are different kinds of spiritual gifts, but the same Spirit gives them. There are different ways of serving, but the same Lord is served. There are different abilities to perform service, but the same God gives to everyone ability for particular service. The Spirit presence is shown in some ways in each person for the good of all. Now you have been elected to positions of leadership and trust in this congregation. You are to see that the words and deeds of this household of faith reflect in whose names we gather. You are to work together with other members to see the worship and work of Christ are done in this congregation, and that God's will is done in this community and in the whole world. You are to be diligent in your specific area of serving, that the one Lord who empowers you is glorified. You are to be examples of faith active in your love, to help maintain the life and the harmony of this congregation. On behalf of your sisters and brothers in Christ, I ask you, are you ready to accept and to faithfully carry out the duties of the offices to which you have been elected?
Yes, I have, God.
And you, the people of God, I ask all of you, will you support these who are elected leaders, and will you share in the mutual ministry that Christ has given to all who are baptized? If so, answer